Good evening, Sonic. It's been a very long time. Hello,
Oh,
welcome.
Sonic, hello.
Pleasure to have you here, pal. I hope you're doing well.
Did you post your stream to Discord?
I'm just about to do that.
Perfect.
You know what, I don't care what's new, Discord, alright? Leave me alone. There we go, that's mine. Hello, Lifestyle. Thanks for this time, bro. Yeah, hope you're doing. Yeah, we're doing well. It's you know, still going strong over here, getting ready for next year's game. Got one pre-ordered. You pre-ordered yours yet, Ghost?
Not yet, but I will be doing so.
I've got the physical copy coming, but I think it's coming the day after release. It's annoying, but it's fine. I like having a physical copy.
I wonder if the previous place I got it from, I got 2021 from, was selling it, because they did it super cheap.
It's annoying because I was going to order the Champions Edition, but I missed out. I forgot to do it. Hello Zorp, cheering on Nonzi today. Well, hopefully Nonzi has a decent race. Little Manny for the win. LB DNFing, says
yes.
Alex.
They're still selling it for cheap. Excellent.
Nice.
Okay.
Comment for the new game. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you back on the track, Ghost. Not Ghost, Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be nice to be back on the track. It's been a while. Friday.
Yeah, it'd be nice to race you again, mate. If you do indeed decide to. Online watching the stream right now. 5 likes. Make sure you do like the stream, guys. I think we'll be getting going very soon. I think right about now, actually.
Yep.
Oh, there we go, then. It's that time of the week again, everybody.
Yeah, just a scoop for any of you who haven't pre-ordered your F1 22 yet. A site called The Game Collection. You can pre-order it for 48 quid.
There you go, let's go. It's a recommendation if you want it slightly cheaper. But anyway, good evening everybody and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm Sumo, your commentator this evening, and joining me as always is the 4-time sprint champion, Ghost. How are we doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. A little bit tired, but there's nothing like a good Tier 2 race, especially around a track like this, to get you perked up, is there? So I'm looking forward to it. There's a few scoops I've seen in the chat about who might be fast, who might not be fast. So we'll have to see if they come to fruition. Yeah,
certainly. Well, it's Tier 2's turn to take to the slopes of the Algarve International Circuit this evening as we race in Portugal for round 5. 4.653 kilometres and 15 corners make a lap of this circuit, with undulation that makes the track a thrill ride for the drivers to race around. The tricky corners of turn 4 and 8 will offer a challenge to our drivers, and they may catch a few unawares. Overtaking is possible due to the wide nature of the track, but expect to see most of the action on the run to turn 1. Any thoughts on tonight's race, Ghost?
I think it's more than likely some positions are going to be decided by track limits penalties today. Very, very easy to get some of those, especially around 1, 2, 3, 4, turn 4, turn 8. You can get one, turn 10 and 11. That sort of little complex. Very easy to get one. So yeah, the drivers are going to have to be careful to stay within track limits during the race and in qualifying. As we're about to get underway and wait for the first car to come out, who I believe is Pommy Alex. Yes.
Mr. P5 himself being the first out on the circuit this week. Let's have a look back to last week then. We had a fantastic race in the Middle East, which was won by Muhiti after the stewarding decisions came in, with Jamie F1 and LB joining him on the final podium, and that's the first win that Muhiti's had in this tier, so congratulations Muhiti. We'll be hoping to see you follow up that pace that you had this evening. LB leads the championship, sitting 12 points clear of Muhiti and Hartman, who are sat on 63 points together. And Hartman will be on a race of redemption this evening, as he had an unfortunate ending to his race around Jeddah. Red Bull lead by 23 points in the Constructors' Championship, with AlphaTauri and Williams sat behind with 1 point between the two of them. Ferrari have also seen themselves back into the hunt for this championship, but the time is ticking away as we enter the final 3 rounds. Any thoughts on the championship at the moment, Liz?
Yeah, it's the Constructors is looking fairly promising. AlphaTauri and Williams both within earshot. I'd say 23 points definitely within earshot. That DNF for JBS Steve in Austria has really hurt AlphaTauri though, and they could be a lot closer if it wasn't for that. But Red Bull looking very strong. LB and Crozer, absolutely fantastic driver pairing. We saw it last season. And the Drivers' Championship, we need a mistake from LB to make it interesting, I think, because at the moment he is dominating. Yeah,
he certainly is. I'm sure he'll be making that move over to Tier 1 next time around. Anyways, tonight's action is brought to you once again by Positive Perception Media Design Products. If you love seeing cool livery designs, head over to their socials and catch a glimpse of some truly awesome cars. They've got real cars, they've got normal race liveries, and of course they are huge motorsport fans, and I've had the pleasure of watching a couple of their races recently, and I've really enjoyed seeing not only them race but the cars that they've created on the track. So please do go show them all the love and support over on their socials and their YouTube channel, as it's all very much appreciated. But we're on to the first qualifying. We're watching Alex come around the Segres corner, which is turn 14, and then down to Galp. I've learned some of the corner names around here, guys, from last week, and those are the final 2 corners of Segres and Galp, and then Tommy Alex will run down to what is turn 1, which is called Primera, and in turn 3 is Lagos. Torre Vip is turn 5, Craig Jones is turn 9, Samsung Samsung is turn 8, Portimao turn 10.
Oh, all those fancy Portuguese names, and then Craig Jones. JBS Steve looks like he's going to set the pace. He does, a 17-1. There were whispers around the paddock leading up to this race that JBS Steve would be in contention to win this race, Sumo. So do keep an eye on that AlphaTauri. Who else is coming across? LB coming across the line, but that's not a representative lap time, I don't think. He will be going again.
Validated. Here comes Nonzi. It's P4, so joins his teammate on the second row. Is immediately knocked down by Mr. J-Man, and Tears come across the line on a set of mediums. Probably invalidated that lap by the looks of things. A lot of drivers struggling with track limits at the moment as the first runs have come in, and a lot of the drivers definitely invalidating lap times here at the moment.
Yeah, Mr. J-Man is looking for a better result today. I mean, we're in round 5. I'll just take you through his previous race results. He has been 9th, which was last if you didn't count the DNFs. DNF 12th again if you don't count the DNFs last, and DNF. So it's clear he has a lot more pace than those results show, and he just needs to find the consistency over the race distance to get himself further up the grid in terms of results, because I do feel bad for him. He's had a bad run so far, and I think he's capable of a lot better, as Crozer is 2 thousandths behind him.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of someone who's been on a more consistent run recently, Krause is having a much better season than he did last time around. Here comes Tier across the line on the mediums. You see what lap time he can do. That's P6. That's not bad from the Mercedes driver. We'll wait and see. I think that's QB coming along to set his first lap time of this evening. Not going to be too fast from the Alpine, but it's decent time nonetheless. It's just Muhiti and Hartmann left to set lap times. Hartmann is coming round turn 14 now, in toward turn 15.
Yeah, he's setting up to start a new lap. Messed up the previous one somehow, and he's off again, so I'm going to ride on board with the American. As he comes through to set his first representative lap time. Through turn 1, you've got to really commit through turn 1. You've got to get the power down much earlier than you think. Really trust the car through that corner, and through turn 2 very slow. And then round here, I like to go into short shift into 5th around that corner, just to make sure I don't spin, because that corner with the camber is absolutely horrible with grip. It's similar to turn 8 as he comes around the hairpin and begins the rest of the lap coming through. This fast right-hander again, really got to be committed, and here's turn 8, the dreaded turn 8, and you can see the little bit of oversteer from the American as he goes through there.
Yeah, through Craig Jones there, which is turn 9 and up towards the 4 mile corner. Down the hill then, looking to set, you need to carry a lot of speed through this here corner, as it can really set you up nicely for the next corner to follow. It's such a long corner, it seems. It doesn't look like it, but you're waiting and waiting and waiting so you can open up that steering and get really on the throttle and set yourself up for the best run possible, as it's flat out all the way through turn 15 there, down towards the start-finish line for the American. It's a decent lap, it's P3.
Not bad at all for Hartmann, 6/10 off the pace of JBS Steve, but I'm sure he can do better than that. LB is another man who can do a lot better than a 20.9, I'm sure of it.
Muhiti 4/10 up as he's come through sector 2. He's out on the lap again, so this could be a decent run this time from the Red Bull. It could see him knock Hartmann down to P4. We'll wait and see as he comes around the final couple of corners. This will be a much better lap from Krauser. I'm not sure what the statistics are on LB and Krauser in qualifying at the moment, but I'm sure Krauser is on the lower end as he sets the 17th.
That's a very good lap from Krauser indeed. Qualifying statistics, well, as you say, LB is on top in the Red Bulls. First 2 races he was well on top. There was around about a second between them in Imola, and China there was around about, again, a second between them. Obviously Austria, Krauser couldn't make it, and then Saudi Arabia, Krauser was only 2/10 off his teammate, so he'll be hoping to keep that good form up. I've been riding on board with Muhiti this lap. This seems fairly conservative from the Ferrari. He just wants to get a time on the board, of course, the only one not to have done so yet. As he tries to find his way into the top.
Tommy, it is. It's a 17-0. I was watching as he came through the final sector. That was a great lap from the Ferrari. Let's see what his teammate can do, who's just coming around the final corner now to finish off his lap. It's looking like a strong one as well. It's 17-2. Wow. Not quite locking out the front row, but it's Ferrari P1 and P3.
Wow, brilliant stuff from Muhiti. He's been on fire this season. He was sort of a distant midfielder last season, but this season P2 in the championship. Gets his first race win and puts himself on the second row with half of this qualifying session to go, with a very decent 17-2 around Portugal. Very nice stuff from the Turkish driver.
Yeah, you can really say a lot about the confidence that good results bring you, and Muhiti's really riding that as well. Lalo Mado's a second up on his previous best on a medium tyres, put himself up into 9th place. Not the fastest, but a strong attempt on that harder compound of tyre. We're trying to find the next driver to come through. I think it's going to be... I want to say it's Nonzi. Yeah, Nonzi, 4/10 up on previous best. Rick has been... has got some, his grandparents own a house in Portugal, is what he says in the chat here. He's been helping with some of the pronunciations. So turn 1 is Primera. I think I'm saying that right, I don't know, I'm not very good at this. Primera. And then turn 5 is Tor Vip. And then turn 14 will be Sagriz. if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't look like you're lagging, Hartman. It looks okay on our end, as far as I can tell.
LB is just about to come across the line. Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo. This looks like a decent lap from LB. It's not actually. He's way down, an 18.6 from the Red Bull. It was deceiving as he came around the final corner. It looked like it was faster, and he's not got enough ERS to go again. So we could have the current championship leader in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, certainly so. I heard in the practice race last night there was some rain. That's what I heard. So we could see some of that. That would really shake things up. I've not had any reports from the chat. Normally the drivers are quite prompt in telling us if it's going to rain or not before the race. But we'll keep ear to the ground, as it were. Just waiting for the next driver who will be coming through. I think is Tier on another lap. He is. He's 2/10 up, so we'll follow along. It's dry, it says Pommy Alex in the chat. Scott Rowley can't wait to come back for the new game. Yeah, the new game's going to be really fun. I'm hoping it's going to shake everybody's understanding of the cars up, and maybe we'll see some new drivers toward the top. Remember Vardy, who dominated throughout most of the majority of the time we had in F1 2020, who lost a lot of his former pace in this year's game. And it could happen to anyone. You could see Ghost at the back for all we know. Who knows?
I hope not. I adapted well to 2021 in the early stages and couldn't convert the championship because my pedal decided to snap in the first race.
Oh, good lap from Tier, 17.2. Gets himself on the second row. Just 500ths back from Muhiti.
Here comes JBS Steve. Across the line he comes, he's backed off, he's coming into the pit, so clearly he wasn't happy with that particular lap, the AlphaTauri driver, and he'll stay in P2 for now. But yeah, Tier up into P4, it's very close up at the top, between the top 5 or so, and I think those further down can definitely do better, so we could have a good race on our hands, Sumo.
Yeah, we certainly could. QB not having the best qualifying sessions at the moment, the track not favouring him at the moment. I'm trying to find someone out on lap for everybody. I think one of the Ferraris is actually on a lap. It is. Pommy Alex has just started his final run, I believe. Maybe not, I can't see the time. I really need to move that yellow flag or something. I don't know how to do it, but I should get it sorted at some point. But we watched Pommy Alex come down. He's not too fast up. He's only 200ths down on his previous best. He could try and find some of that time in the second sector as he comes down towards Samsung.
Yeah, he's going pretty well though, the Ferrari. He seems pretty consistent, and he's looking to take his second win of the season, of course. One explanation for why LB is struggling, by the way, is because in the practice race yesterday, word on the street was that he was using controller. Of course, he uses his wheel for these races, otherwise he wouldn't be allowed to this season. So maybe going on controller for a race and then coming back to the wheel for the same track is not the best idea. So it gets you out your groove, really, as the Australian's about to come off over the line.
Yeah, certainly. So here comes Pommy Alex, and is it an improvement? It is a 16.8. Wow. These are some great lap times from Pommy Alex, who is really on form in this qualifying session. We're watching Mr. J-Man 3/10 up on his previous best, looking to come across the line and get himself a bit further into the top 10 drivers in that pile orange car. Lenny McLaren on the circuit today. It's looking like a good time. It's 1 minute 17.6. That's a decent time from the McLaren.
So Muhiti is 2/10 up, Sumo, as he comes into Sector 3. He's gone very deep at that corner though, and that's going to cost him a fair bit of time. I don't know how good it was on his previous lap, so we'll have to find out as he comes across to set the lap. Oh, he's backed off, so clearly he lost all of that time in that final corner. I know how that feels. I did the same thing on Friday last week.
That is a huge shame for Muhiti, but he's got enough time to get another lap together. He won't be able to stop, but he'll definitely be able to come in and get a lap time on the board. Just looking to see who else on a lap. So LB's on an out lap on the mediums, so hoping to get himself in the top 10 on those tyres and maybe have to try a different strategy since he's not having the best of times at the moment. Let's see, we've got a Ferrari on a lap. Is Tommy Alex doing a lap? No, he's cooling down. So I think the next across the line is going to be the APPF1 of Jamie F1. He's a 10th down on his previous best.
Yeah, he just went very wide through turn 9, so he's going to back out of that one and maybe try again. He's got the Red Bull of Crozer coming up directly behind him, but he has invalidated, so he won't go faster. LB is on the mediums. Is he going to be any faster through the first sector? Yes, 4/10 faster through the first sector. So LB clearly hiding some pace, and didn't he do those previous laps on the softs as well? So this is much better from the championship leader.
Yeah, it certainly is. This could be a decent lap from him. Hartmann's a 10th up, just sat behind that Aston Martin now. I can't remember which one it was, but coming through the final corner now, looking to improve that lap time. He's chasing after a championship this year, but he's got a lot of work to do as he improves up one position, knocking J-Man into P7.
LB is still only 3.5 tenths up, but it will be enough to put him into the top 10, perhaps, if he can gain a bit more in this final sector. This will be his last attempt. He's not going to have enough ERS to go again. Down to the line he comes. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 18-0, which does just about put him in the top 10. But I wonder if Jamie F1... No, Jamie has gone for a spin. Look at that. So no one else is going to displace the Red Bull.
Muhitti's up on his time. It's only 200s, but he could find some time in this final sector here. Let's see as he crosses the line.
Yes.
He's a 10th up on his previous best. So this could see him displace JBS Steve, who is sat in P2. We could have a front row lockout for those Scarlet cars. Muhitti on a real run of form at the moment. That looks so much better than the last run through there. This could be a great improvement from car number 2 as he comes down to run across that line, setting what lap time?
Oh!
It's a 1 minute 17.0. Setting, that's a very good show from the Ferraris this evening. And
Ferrari
JBS Steve's on a 10th up, but he's invalidated his lap.
Yep. And Tier is not lapping either. Crozer is in the pits. Lil Manny Man has backed off. Hartmann has also backed off. Mr. J-Man is in the pits. That will be there. That will be it. LB isn't on a lap. It's a Ferrari front row lockout in Portugal.
Wow, incredible stuff. Tommy Alex, winner of the first race of the season, the People's Champion, is on the top again at the moment, and we'll be hoping to convert that pole position into a win, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's looking like a dry race this evening, and it depends what will happen. I mean, Tier 2 always does produce some great racing, but the race was a little bit dull last time we were here on Friday for Tier 1, but hopefully we'll have a little bit more action for you.
Yeah, hopefully. Got 13 drivers on the grid, and I mean, those times are pretty damn close. Only 8 tenths between first and 8th, and those at the back are fairly close as well. QB might end up struggling, but Jamie F1, I think, is the shock of the session, all the way down in 12th on pure pace. So clearly he is not a fan of this track, because we've seen him fight at the front nearly all season long. So that really is a surprise.
Yeah, certainly. So LB says, why is he so slow on this track on wheel? Might have been something to do with that stint you did on the controller. But anyway, then we've got a Ferrari 1-2 with Tommy Alex taking pole position by 1/10 of a second from his teammate Muhitti, who joins him on the front row. We have JBS Steve and Tier making the second row, with Krauser and Little Manny Man making row number 3. Hartmann, Mr. J-Man on the 4th row, with Nonzi and LB on row number 5. Lalo Maddo and Jamie F1 line up side by side on row number 6, with QB, the final car to line up on the grid. This could be a decent race from everybody, and I'd be interested to see what the drivers who are outside of the top 10 decide to do on race start.
Absolutely. I'll be interested to see if there will be any team orders at Ferrari as well, or if they will fight to the death. Because of course, Pommy Alex, he's 20 points behind, which is a long way. But if LB DNFs or something terrible happens to the championship leader, suddenly both Ferraris will be back in the championship fight. So yeah, I do wonder if we'll see them work together or fight against each other to get this race win.
It'll certainly be interesting to see as Pommy Alex missed a race. I think it was race 2, which sort of threw him out of the championship a little bit. But sadly, sometimes life does get in the way of league racing. So it is a shame for Pommy Alex, but his teammate is sat in contention for this championship. Only 12 points, and if LB is struggling as much as he is, then perhaps a poor result from him could see this championship turned on its head.
Absolutely. As we're about to get underway for the formation lap, there's a weird smell in this room that I'm going to investigate quickly, so why don't you take us through some stuff on the formation lap, Sumo?
Oh, certainly so then. So Pommy Alex, People's Champion, the only Australian on the grid at the moment, setting a very good lap. Last time we were here at Tier 1, both lap records were broken. One by a newcomer, URL Chris, who set a lap time of 1:16.2, I believe, and the race lap time was that race lap record was taken by Jack Alacco in his Red Bull during Tier 1. Both of those were records held by Ghost here, who loses a couple more on the board, but I'm sure he's not too fast as he's got plenty of them on the fastest lap boards. Let's have a look through in the chat what's happening. Rick is down for Ghost struggle season. Hope Lifebout has a good driving style for F122. Simon's track. I mean, I'm looking forward to F122. I've heard that there's a lot more grip that is also lost a lot easier, and it's the same with traction as well. There's a lot more of it there and a lot more to be lost. But that's sort of where my driving style sits. I enjoy trying to get the most out of grip and traction zones, and a heavy car doesn't bother me too much. So I'm hoping that I get a better run of form, as I lost a lot of my pace in this year's iteration of the game. I don't know what happened, honestly, but at this first half of this game's life cycle, I was quite fast, and then it all just went away. But that's probably a lack of racing experience as I transitioned over to commentary.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, the experience definitely counts. We saw that with Vardy. I mean, as much as he did struggle to adapt to the new game, I think it was largely due to a lack of practice because he was so busy at the turn of the game. So, yeah, it's once you get more practice in, I think you'll be right up there again. You don't lose talent.
No, certainly so. It's just down to experience and learning the car, and plus all my setups aren't exactly updated, but the last cars are lining up on the grid now. That's QB and Jamie F1. We're about to go racing here in Portimao. A few little glitches, but it's 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Portuguese Grand Prix. And they're underway. It looks like a decent start from the Ferraris. That's JBS Steve getting a good start as well, challenging Muhiti. Already off the line, they're going to go side by side. Tier covers off the Red Bull behind. A little bit of contact between Krauser and the Aston Martin there, but Pommy Alex has flown off the starting line. Muhiti's kept his line. Oh, Nonzi's made a fatal error. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I saw Tier diving up the inside as well into turn 3 and has got himself up into P3 at the moment. We'll have a look at position changes for the first couple of laps there, but that was a little bit of a messy start.
I was running on board with Nonzi. He got an absolutely incredible start, just breezed past 2 cars before turn 1, and then just got his braking point all wrong into turn 2, and it was all over for him. As Jamie F1 nearly goes for a spin at turn 9. Hartman has dropped a position, Little Manny Man has done the same, but Nonzi and LB, the big losers here. I think LB might have damage as well.
Yeah, Lalo Maddo made a place up on Jamie F1 as an Alpine goes for a little trip in the gravel as Hartmann gets up ahead. I think little Manny Man's having some issues. Maybe he's got some damage after all that, or is just struggling because he is dropping like a stone in that grid. He must have some kind of damage. Look how deep he went into turn 14 there. But look at this, the gap, 1.1 seconds between the Ferraris, and Tia is closing in quickly on Muhiti, the Turkish driver, looking to make a move in these early laps for the moment in his bright orange helmet, but nothing to come of it just yet. But he's all over the back of that Ferrari, filling his mirrors and applying some pressure.
Yeah, sorry. As Jamie F1 gets a 10-second time penalty, he's gone for a spin. Oh, that's a shame for him. It's a place gain for LB, but both Astons into the pits, as you say. I'm going to switch to tyres. Turns out the smell we were investigating is gas, so if I switch off my mic for a bit, then that will be why. But yeah, hopefully it's nothing to worry about. Tia is right behind Muhiti, meanwhile.
Well, hopefully so. Hopefully there is nothing to worry about. But we've got a little battle developing then as JBS Steve, Tia, and Muhiti begin the train for the position 3 of this race. And Tia is looking very racy in that Mercedes at the moment.
He has a big tank slapper there, just as you say it. But and he's going to come under pressure from JBS Steve, LB, and Jamie. Jamie's gone for another spin. I think that might have been self-inflicted. Unfortunately, he's really struggling with this track, especially on those medium tyres. But Pommy Alex is looking imperious today.
He certainly is. He's opened up that gap well, and he just needs to keep it. And his teammates doing a great job behind him to keep Tia in that P3 and not chasing, because I think Tia might just be let loose. But Muhiti has closed up a little bit. It might help his case in this fight, but the DRS is now active, and Tia is closing and closing and closing, and he's going down the inside into this next corner here, and he's got the inside line and pushes the Ferrari wide, and Tia gets that position and is now free to chase after Pommy Alex.
Brilliant overtake. Oh, he's hit the yellow curb. What a save from the Mercedes. Oh my word. How on earth is that car on the track? I was riding on board with Muhiti, who got a fantastic view of it. Oh my goodness me. I don't know how he managed to keep that car on the black stuff. Tia, he's lost a second to Pommy Alex, but he's not going to care too much. He'll just be happy to still be on the road.
Yeah, certainly. Tia's not averse to a spin, but that was incredible. Incredible reactions to keep that car going. As it's so easy to lose it around that corner, and Tokyo drifted around it.
Yeah, absolutely. APPF1 veteran Tia. This is his 101st APPF1 race today. So he's certainly got a lot of experience under his belt, and that might be why he managed to save that when it all looked lost. Muhiti is still right behind, but Tia keeping him at bay as the Ferrari has a little bit of oversteer moment, and JBS Steve is going to put him under pressure if he keeps making mistakes like that. As Crozer gets back into this fight as well, thanks to Tia's mistake.
Yeah, Krauser, J-Man and Hartmann are now joining in on this fight, so we've got a 6-car battle for position 2 in this race, and Pommy Alex, all he's got to do is sit tight, race his own race, and hopefully he'll finish in the position he started in come the very end. But we're very early into this race yet, and I won't jinx him too much, because last time I did that, it ended in tears.
It certainly did. We do love a jinx here at Tier 2 commentary. As Hartmann is looking to get the better of Mr. J-Man. We've got another spin. I think that's Jamie again. Yeah. Oh, he's really having a bad time. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him pull into the pits and bow out of this race. I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't blame him either. He looks like he's having a terrible time, but here comes Muhiti.
Muhiti going down the inside into turn 1. He's got that position. Tia's got nothing to fight back with, but he's still all over the back of that Ferrari. Muhiti's used all of his battery. So has Tia. JBS Steve's got almost a full battery on him. So these guys are really, really pushing to keep the drivers behind them, as they've all got a lot of ERS in reserve to use. As Hartmann, I think he's had a moment, he's had a spin and has been sent all the way back down behind LB, who has caught up quite a bit.
Yeah, he had a spin. I don't know if it was while he was trying to overtake the McLaren of Mr. J-Man, or whether it was self-inflicted, but either way, he is down to P10. But yeah, LB sets the fastest lap on those mediums. He's clearly enjoying the race pace a little bit more. QB gets a 3-second time penalty in the meantime and is going to be in danger of losing that position to the Red Bull very soon. Tier just got to keep up with Muhiti at this point. They've lost out to Pommy Alex. Look at that lead. Similar to Friday, where the top car just built a massive lead, and well, Pommy Alex will be hoping the same outcome because he did win that race, that newcomer, on Friday.
Yeah, certainly. So it was an incredible drive from URL Chris, who won that race. On Friday, I had the pleasure of commentating on that one, and it was a impressive display, and it's looking like it could be that again, even with these battles as well. We had a big battle for the podium positions in Tier 1 as well, and here comes Tier all over the back of that Ferrari again, looks to the inside, thinks better of it and backs out of that move and just follows behind the Ferrari, gets a much better exit than Muhiti, who goes a little bit deep into that corner as he looks to try and keep that Mercedes behind him. QB and Hartman having a little bit of a skirmish with one another. LB is
Tier and Muhiti! Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo. Tier just side by side with the Ferrari through after turn 9. That was incredible racing between the two of them. Muhiti wins out in the end, but this battle will definitely go on.
Yeah, it certainly will. We'll keep our eyes on it as it develops. Don't want to miss any more of this action. There's already penalties up and down the grid. I think Jamie F1's on might be a penalty removal, as I wouldn't be surprised if he spun across the circuit and got a penalty because of it.
I think that will be what happens.
The game does like to do. It's very unfair.
Tier down
here
the
comes
inside.
Tier again. He's down the inside. Muhiti has no ERS left to fight with, and they're both going to struggle to keep JBS Steve and Krauser behind, because they've got a lot left in the tank to go racing with.
Yeah, they've been saving up. Muhiti, a bit of contact with the rear end of Tier as they came through turn 1, just misjudged a little bit. Neither of their fault really, just Muhiti trying to gain a little bit too much and hit the rear end, but it looks like he's fine in terms of damage, so that's good to see. JBS Steve Tier's gone for a spin. Oh no, Tier in the gravel he goes at turn 9, and I think no, Crozer hasn't followed him. Crozer has just lost out to Mr. J-Man at the same corner. So Crozer down to P5, and the McLaren driver, who's had a woeful season so far, currently running very strong in P4, but what a shame for Tier.
Yeah, Mr. J-Man retired in last week's race on the opening lap, and is having a much better run of luck at the moment. But I'm interested to see as Lale Matter goes all the way around the outside of Krauser at turn 14. That was an incredible move from the Alfa Romeo.
There's damage to that Red Bull. There's damage to that Red Bull. I don't know where he got it, but he's into the pits. Muhiti also in, but I don't think there's damage to the Ferrari. Although maybe there is, because he did have contact with Tier, so we'll have to see if the Ferrari pit crew have got a new front wing ready. Do they? No, they don't. So just fresh tyres for the Turkish driver, but Crozer will definitely be having a new front wing fitted to that Red Bull.
Yeah, I was actually about to say about the strategy. So it was a one-stop from Tier 1 on Friday, either soft to hard or soft to medium, or medium to soft. The mediums went a surprisingly long way, I believe.
Yeah.
Some of the drivers taking them for about 22 laps or so, and then going on to the soft tyres. So we might see that today, although the game does tell you that it is a two-stop race.
Yeah, I was certainly... oh, sorry. Go on, Zumo.
No, I think I'm finished.
But yeah, I was certainly surprised as a driver on track as how far those mediums went. I thought they'd be gone by lap 30, but they were still strong at the end of the race. So, yeah, I wonder if those drivers who pitted will take those all the way to the end, Muhiti and Crozer. It will be definitely be a struggle, but it's certainly possible as Mr. J-Man also peels in. for a new set of tyres, which promotes Lalo Maddo into the podium positions.
Yeah, Lalo Maddo, the front runner on the alternate strategy at the moment. LB has found himself in P5, so great recovery from the Red Bull at the moment. But anything can happen still at the moment. I believe Hartmann's followed Mr. J-Man into the pits. So those stops making everybody second guess the strategy perhaps, as it's a fresh set of hard tyres for Hartmann.
So he's definitely going to the end. Mr. J-Man comes out just behind Muhiti, about 3 seconds down. Crozer exits ahead of Hartmann, which is crucial. And those hard tyres are going to take a while to heat up, so Hartmann's going to find it tricky in these first few laps of this stint. As you say, LB doing well. He's right behind Tier now. He's got full ERS, so he could make this move pretty soon. He's using the same strategy he used in Tier 1, which was medium to soft. So we'll see if that works out for him today. It certainly worked out for him last week.
Yeah, it definitely did. That was a decent race from LB, who was a reserve driver in Tier 1 and had a very, very good race as far as I remember. And he's setting up the move on this Mercedes now. That closing speed into turn 1 is incredible and pulls over to the inside and breezes past before the corner.
No ERS left on that Mercedes, nothing to defend with. And I think those guys still on the softs going to have to start thinking about coming into the pits fairly soon. Pommy Alex has got a bigger window, of course, because he's got that massive gap to P2 that he had when Muhiti came into the pits. As Tier tries to stay with this Red Bull to get some DRS for the next straight.
Yeah, it's certainly going to help him. I'd imagine Tier might be coming into the pit lane very soon, along with the rest of these soft runners, as the stops are slowly starting to come about. But Pommy Alex is really sat in a good position. He'll come out in amongst the midfield, but everybody's sort of spread out at the moment, so he'll come out in clean air most likely.
Yeah, I think he will. He's going to come out, well, he'll come out about 3 seconds behind QB as it stands, I believe. Something like that. So he's certainly in a very, very good position, the Australian, looking very strong at this Portimao track. Tier, has he gotten DRS? I think he was just out of range of LB, so that's a blow for the Mercedes.
LB got it on Lalo Maddo. I'm looking at the wrong car.
As LB sets the fastest lap just to prove that he's back in this race. Tries to go all the way around the outside at turn 1. That is not going to work. Lalo Maddo defending that pretty easily. But the Alfa Romeo is going to come under pressure here as LB tries to get a better exit out of turn 3. Who's that that's gone round? Is that Hartmann? No, it's an Aston Martin.
It's Nonzi.
Ah, shame for the newcomer from last week. Good to see him on the grid again today, but yeah, not the most ideal race for him so far. As LB still stuck behind this Alfa Romeo for now, as Crozer gets himself a 3-second time penalty. How crucial is that going to be?
We'll have to wait and see as that develops, but yeah, Crozer looking a bit further down than he would have liked to have been. He needs to try and help his teammate. They're fairly far ahead in the constructors, but if Ferrari have a very good run, they could find themselves a little bit further up. But it's Williams, who only have one driver on the circuit as well, and AlphaTauri, who have one driver in the top 2 and another out in P12.
Tier's got himself DRS this time, so he's definitely going to stay out this lap as LB tries to find a way past Lalo Maddo. Still not using any ERS is the Red Bull. Championship leader goes down the inside. The Alfa Romeo says no thanks all the way around the outside from Lalo Maddo. Great stuff as they go side by side again. LB sends it into turn 2 or 3, I think that is, as they go side by side again, and Lalo Maddo has to catch a tank slapper, and that will be that. LB up into P3, but fantastic battle between the two of them as Tier has caught up now as well, thanks to that.
Yeah, Lalo Maddo got a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 3 there, as I saw on the off-board shot, which cost him the run up through turn 4, which allowed LB to swoop past the Alfa Romeo around the outside, giving him that last place on the podium, at least provisionally.
Yeah, still has to pit for those softs, but he's going to be very fast in the latter stages of this race. So don't count out the championship leader quite yet. Lalo Mato is going to try and keep with him though on those mediums. At least stay within DRS range, and that is what he's done so far. As has Tia, so I think we might see Tia stay out yet again. Pommy Alex has certainly stayed out, as has JBS Steve.
Yeah, these two are having a bit of a lonely race at the moment, especially JBS Steve, fastest sector 3 from Lalo Mato, so some pace in that Alfa Romeo as he chases after LB to get his position back on the circuit. It's a little bit only battle on track over, here for the positions on that last place on the podium, but we're waiting for pit stops, and of course there is also the chance of a safety car which could change this race completely, but with the open nature of this circuit it's very unlikely. Yeah,
certainly so. Although we can have safety cars around here if someone crashes at turn well, this is turn 9, so 10, 11, turn 11, and goes into the wall there. That could be a safety car. Lalo Mato nearly binning it there out of turn 9. Just about managed to save the car, but he's lost a few tenths to the Red Bull, and that could cost him DRS on the main straight if he can't regain that time.
The detection point is just into turn 15, so we'll wait and see as they come through turn 14 now. Looking like he might just get it. Oh, big snap of oversteer from the Alfa Romeo, and that's it. And our race leader's into the pits.
He certainly is. Yeah, Lalo just pressing the overtake button a little bit too early to try and get that DRS, and it's cost him the DRS in the end, ironically. Tia also into the pits. But where's Pommy Alex going to come out? I think he's going to be ahead of QB. Yes, he is. Muhiti is just about getting past QB, talking of which, who also peels into the pits. So how many seconds is Pommy Alex going to be leading this race by from his teammate? It's about 4 seconds. It's gone down to 3.5 actually. Yeah, 3.5 seconds. There we go. So still a comfortable lead for the Australian.
Yeah, it's about the same as it was when Muhiti came into the pit lane. So nothing gained, nothing lost between the two Red Bulls, or Ferraris even. But Muhiti might have a little bit of advantage as his tyres are already up to temperature.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to tempt fate, Sumo, but a 1-2 for Ferrari could easily be on the cards today. If LB obviously is going to be very fast on those soft tyres, but when he pits, he's going to be, he's about 16 seconds ahead at the moment. I'd say you lose around 22 or so maybe, so he'll be around 6 seconds down the road. But still well in with a shout of a podium, which you wouldn't have said from qualifying, because his race pace has usually been worse than his qualifying pace so far this season. Seems like it's the opposite today.
Yeah, certainly. He's definitely found a groove with this circuit, and that's the thing with just doing laps of the circuit. It really just tunes you into what the circuit's like. You get a real feel of the car, a real feel of the track itself, and you're able to start pushing and pushing a bit more. And so where he was a little bit shaky in qualifying and starting himself just in P10, he's managed to find a groove in this race and is now setting some decent pace at the moment and is catching JBS Steve.
Certainly is. He's got the fastest lap as well, the Red Bull, and I think he's going to have the fastest lap by the end of the race as well, because he'll have those soft tyres and be a lot faster than everyone else with lighter fuel loads. So yeah, he's looking very good. He's catching JBS Steve very quickly actually. The AlphaTauri really struggling on those soft tyres. I don't know why he hasn't come in yet, as his teammate gets himself a track limits penalty. Surely the AlphaTauri is in now. Yes, he is, into the pit. So where's he going to come out? Behind Muhiti, I wonder.
Yeah, I'd hazard a guess it could also be behind, or at least racing with Tia. Tia's coming into turn 13 just now. Keep an eye on that sort of greenish dot on your screen now. It comes through the right hander of turn 14 at the minute. I believe JBS Steve has headed off, so he might not get behind Tia. I was going off of pace, but he could be racing Muhiti here.
just behind the Ferrari, but he's ahead of Mr. J-Man, which is crucial. Talking to Mr. J-Man, what a race he's having. He's currently sitting in P6 on merit, so great stuff from the McLaren so far. But that gives us a really good idea of where LB is going to come out. He was around, what, 1.8 seconds behind JBS Steve. He's going to be even closer to the back of the top three after he pits, and he's going to have those soft tyres. So LB definitely in contention for a podium here as Jamie F1 has gone for yet another spin. It's not his day today.
Yeah, Laurent Maddow as well was looking for a decent result. Has stayed fairly close to LB. Yeah. So this alternate strategy from the McLaren and the Red Bull could see them with a good result. Maybe even a top 5 finish with both of them.
Yeah, LB looked down and out, but he's really brought together the pace in the race, which is what you need to do when you're leading a championship. You need to dig out those tough results and find some pace that you didn't think you had, and keep hold of your championship lead. At the moment, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, it certainly is. Pommy Alex has definitely sat pretty in that lead of the race. I think he's going to be well ahead of them when they do come in. It's only about 15 seconds. So 5-second gap when LB does eventually come into the pit lane. But barring any mistakes, Pommy Alex is in for a decent result. Touch wood.
Yeah, certainly is. Touch wood indeed. I mean, he's looking imperious today. That's a second he's gained on his teammate in the last 2 or 3 laps. So the Australian waltzing away at the moment. I don't want to tempt fate, of course, but he is looking very strong at this track.
Yeah, certainly. He doesn't really have to worry about pushing to catch the cars ahead of him, but the closer he can get to them, the easier it's going to be when LB does eventually come in. But I think those softs will wear off quite quickly, although they will stay in an optimum range for a little while. JBS Steve sets the fastest lap of the race. Is at 19.65 for the AlphaTauri, who's looking to catch on the back of Muhiti, and I think is doing so. I've got a feeling that Muhiti might be doing a 2-stop.
I think he might well be doing. Crozer is going to struggle to hold out this 1-stop as well, all the way to the end. I'm not sure how this is going to go. No battles on track at the moment, although JBS Steve is catching up to the back of Muhiti and is just about to be within DRS, so we could have a battle on our hands pretty soon for that P2.
Yeah, certainly. That pit stop, Muhiti didn't gain a lot of ERS after the pit stop there, so has definitely used a lot of it and has nothing really to fight with. He needs a safety car in order for that battery to charge all the way back up, but it looks very far away. Everybody is sort of on their own in this race, racing their own race, and nobody's looking like they're making any huge errors. And Jamie F1 has had a lot of pirouettes around the track at the moment, a lot like Bossy Vamos, or Tier 1, who spun and spun and spun and spun and spun and still finished the race. That's a spin, as I'm talking about, and that's QB at turn 8. Another driver caught out by that horrible corner.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen plenty of spins there today already, but everyone is still in the race, and I mean, all the credit has to be given to Jamie F1 for keeping himself going and keeping himself motivated for the rest of this race. He really wants to get some points for AlphaTauri, because he knows those 8 points he gets for finishing P13 are crucial, much better than 0 for the constructors fight. So huge respect to him for keeping it going despite a very tough race.
Yeah, certainly. He's got it's not about where you finish, it's just about finishing. Everybody gets points here, and even if you bring home well, the points for him would be, he'll bring home 8 points in P13, so it's still a decent amount. And with JBS Steve as high up as he is, it's a good haul. They're not going to outscore Ferrari, but more crucially, they're going to outscore Williams, who they're in direct competition with.
Yeah, they do need to outscore Red Bull though, and they're going to struggle to do that the way they are at the moment. Jamie has just been lapped, by the way, so... Oh no, he's just coming up to be lapped. Pommy Alex is approaching the AlphaTauri, so that could happen fairly soon, unfortunately for him. We've got another spinner. Is that Nonzi? Or is that Little Manny Man?
No, that's Nonzi. Little Manny Man's in the pits. Hartman's lagged out of the session. That's a shame for the American. Hopefully he can get himself back in as quickly as possible in order to continue his race and not drop down too far. It's always a shame when you lag out of a session, but that's the dangers of league racing.
Indeed. I've just been keeping up with the gap to leader for everyone. JBS Steve is slightly making inroads, talking to leader LB in, so where's he going to come out? Lalo Mado also in the pits, follows his rival. 3.5 seconds down was the Alfa Romeo. Pommy Alex is going to go through. I think he's not going to be in danger, but LB on those soft tyres is going to be very fast, and he could be challenging Muhiti here as he comes out the pits. This is going to be interesting. Where is he going to come out? Where is the Ferrari? Look on the right.
Behind the two of them. He's behind. He's at the back of this battle. And Mr. J-Man's going to get ahead of Lalo Mado and put himself into P5. So this race has just woken up a little bit after the leaders have come in. And now Pommy Alex and Muhiti sit P1 and 2. But JBS Steve is all over the back of that Ferrari, and with a Red Bull and fresh soft tyres looming in the background, this could be quite the squabble for that the podium positions.
It certainly could. LB's not going to want to do anything too risky as well, which could make it more exciting actually, because those soft tyres really should be breezing straight past the guys on mediums. But the man fighting for the championship is not going to want to pull any crazy moves here, so he might just be content with sitting behind these two. Of course, DRS trains very easy to get into in Portugal, can be difficult to overtake if you're at the back of one, so yeah, LB needs to find something here, but can't lose out too much.
Yeah, we've got two battles going on the circuit. We've got the battle for P2 and the battle for P5, as Tears found himself back in this race, but he needs to catch up to Lalo Mado and get in that fight. Lalo's also on the mediums and is looking to challenge Mr. J-Man, and goes down the inside in towards turn 1, breezes right past the McLaren and takes P5 from him. LB all over the back. He's going to struggle perhaps getting past these two cars who are much slower, but he gets a great exit on turn 4, but the DRS helping JBS Steve, and he's using as much of his battery as he can to keep the two behind. LB's got a full battery, more or less, with these two having very little, and LB down the inside. It's going to be side by side into this complex, is it? LB backs out quite sensibly, looks for the inside at turn 8 there, and that AlphaTauri looked to be a little bit out of shape. Perhaps that was just the camera angle for the moment. Lalo Mado's broke away from J-Man, who has left the battle away with Tier, and will look to get on the back of this fight as well for these podium places. But Muhiti's got to do everything he can to keep LB behind, and with JBS Steve also behind him, this could be very helpful for the Australian, who only has to do about 11 or 12 more laps.
3-second time penalty for Jamie, but he's at the back. As here comes LB, he's going to have the move now, I think, done on JBS Steve. Is he going to use any overtake? No, he's not. He's going to be sticking behind. Now he uses the overtake. It's a bit late. Are they going to go 3 wide into turn 1? Surely not. JBS Steve has to back out, which gives LB an opportunity to go down the inside, and the Red Bull is now where he wants to be. In the middle of the DRS train. I think he's going to size up at the move on Muhiti now. He's using the overtake. Is he going to send one down the inside? The championship leader puts it all on the line and backs out of it in the end by braking very hard as he approached the corner, and just thought if I wasn't fighting for a championship, if I wasn't 12 points clear, I would have gone for that. But I think I'll stick here for now.
Yeah, Lalo Mado has caught onto the back of this now as well, so it's a 4-car fight. Muhiti is going to be under tremendous pressure here, and it's going to really have to get his elbows out in order to help his teammate.
Gone for it.
But LB down the inside of turn 13, that is a very audacious send. They're still side by side, but the superior grip's going to mean LB gets the position, but Muhiti's not ready to let this go yet. He's going to challenge down towards turn 1 here, and he will have the DRS, and he's very close to the back of that Red Bull, who has way more ARS in the tank. Lalo Mado challenging a little bit further back. That's going to be a position for the Alfa Romeo, perhaps, as it's all kicking off now. Muhiti tries to go around the outside of LB, but it doesn't quite work, and Lalo Mado can't find a way through. Tier has spun a bit further back, but it's this fight that we're watching as they come through Sector 1.
Yeah, Tier was just getting past Mr. J-Man and then dropped it at turn 1.
Oh, Steve,
my
that's
goodness
a huge
me.
dive, and he goes far too deep, losing both positions. That was a very audacious send, and that was a self-inflicted error.
He's massively misjudged that. Huge error from JBS Steve. We've got another spinner. I don't know who that was.
That's Jamie.
Okay, I thought it was a leader then, because it was just where they were. Yeah, Jamie F1 going for another spin. He's down in P12. LB gets a time penalty, 3 seconds.
Oh.
But the way he's going, the pace he's got at the moment, I don't think that's going to matter too much, at least in comparison to Muhiti. But he could end up being caught by Lalo Mado here, who's looking for his first podium in APPF1.
Yeah, and he's in the right place to be doing it. He's very close, and I think that overtake is a done deal. Lalo Mado is all over the back of that Ferrari, peels to the right, and he gets the job done. Very, very cut and dry past that. Very simple.
Yeah, Muhiti will be disappointed to lose out on this podium if it stays like this, because he has driven fantastically today. But P4 would still be a decent result for the Ferrari driver, although he would lose more points to the championship leader. Who have we got? Muhiti still just behind Lalo, but not anymore. So JBS Steve could start challenging the Ferrari if he puts the pace on a little bit. But yeah, LB now looking to chase after Pommy Alex and try and build up that 3-second gap to Lalo Mado.
Yeah, that 6 seconds is actually about 9 seconds now because of the penalty. Pommy Alex has just got to sit tight and go as fast as he possibly can. And the faster the LB goes, the more he's going to end up taking out of his tyres. So he may not even catch Pommy Alex. There's only about, I think, 8 laps left in this race.
Yeah.
6 for 7, 28, 29, 30, 41, 42, 43, yeah, 8 laps. As LB starts his 26th lap of the Algarve International Circuit. LB's really got to just put the pace on, try and keep the tyres in that window, and hope that he can catch Pommy.
It's not just the tyres either, he's got to make sure he doesn't get another penalty, because that really would put a spanner in the works. 6 seconds, 3 seconds he can deal with, 6 seconds maybe not, and that could end up getting him to lose out to Muhiti, as Crozer indeed can't get those mediums to the end, comes in for a fresh set of softs to try and take the fastest lap away from, I think it's Tier who still has the fastest lap. Who has the No, it's Lalo Mado, so Crozer looking to take that extra point for Red Bull. He's going to lose out to Hartmann though, so he will have to make that overtake to make it worth it. But I think he's made a good call there, the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, just having a look at the penalty situation. LB 3 seconds, J-Man 3 seconds, Krauser 3 seconds. Little Manny Man sat on 3 seconds with QB and Nonzi on 6, Tier on 9, and Jamie F1 on 22 seconds, but probably about 12 because he shouldn't have put that 10.
Is QB going to go for a move down the inside into turn 1 on Lil Manny Man? No, he's not. He's going to decide against it. It didn't have the DRS anyway, and he's just going to sit behind. We've got another spinner. Is that Jamie again? It is. Oh, He is having a torrid time out there, but again, massive respect to him for finishing as JBS Steve gets Muhiti at turn 1 into P4. Goes the Alpha Tauri, and that's crucial for Muhiti's championship hopes. He can't afford to lose any more points here, but that is exactly what's happening. He's really struggling for pace in this final stage of the race. 18 lap-old medium tyres. He's going to really struggle to get those to the end, and it could end up under pressure from his fellow countryman, Mr. J-Man.
Yeah, he certainly could. He's only 6 seconds down the road, but his tyres are one lap fresher, so there's not going to be much difference in it. But I think Mr. Muhiti should have tried going for the hard compound tyre, or perhaps pitting later like his teammate did.
Yeah, I think those hards would have really served the Ferrari driver well, because those mediums, it's going to be tricky. Although Mr. J-Man also has 17 lap-old mediums, but he does seem to be catching, so Muhiti not as happy with the wear as the McLaren driver at the moment. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. 5.6 seconds is the gap at the moment, and Mr. J-Man has a penalty, so I think Muhiti's safe for now, but he will be disappointed to lose out on not only the podium, but it looks like P4 now.
Yeah, I think LB might just catch Pommy Alex here. He's been going by he's been gaining on him by about a second a lap. He's taken 2 seconds out of him on the last couple of laps, and so is definitely looking like this win might be on the cards, but he does still have that time penalty to contend with.
Absolutely does. 5.5 laps to go. I think he's going to need a mistake from Pommy Alex to get this race win. What a race win it would be if he did manage to get it, but at the moment he's looking like the best he can do is P2. And if Lalo Mado can stay within 3 seconds, it's really a struggle. No, just right on board. Lalo Mado into the wall. Just with 5.5 laps to go, he's bottled it, and now JBS Steve is going to have himself a podium position, and that relieves all of the pressure off the Red Bull of LB.
Yeah, it certainly does. He's got no one behind him who can actually challenge now. Lalo's going to drop way back and gets himself a 3-second time penalty to just add to those woes there. Muhiti will move up into P4, so not a bad result. If JBS Steve makes a mistake, he might see himself back on that podium position, but it's more likely that Muhiti will continue his lament on those very old tyres.
Yeah, massive shame that is for Lalo Mado. He's been driving absolutely brilliantly today, but yeah, one mistake can cost you everything. Into the pits he comes, new front wing. I think he's still going to be safe for P6, but yeah, he's going to be disappointed with that. As TSF's fastest lap.
Yeah, 18.2. Yeah, he did come in a lap or so ago.
Yeah.
He had a 30-second gap over Hartmann, so he was able to come in without any consequence. And speaking of mistakes, Pommy Alex would be praying for LB to make a mistake. The rate he's caught him is incredible. That advantage on the soft tyres is big, but they'll start to get a little bit sour now, those softs, as it's coming to the latter stages of their life cycle. So LB is going to start to struggle a little bit more for pace, but it doesn't look like it's bothering him at all.
I think everyone on the grid is going to be hoping for LB to make a mistake at the moment. I mean, everyone saw his qualifying and thought, alright, we've got a chance to make up some points on the championship leader today. And here he is in P2, not looking at all like he's going to drop to P3. He's got that 3 seconds, but 8 seconds is the gap to JBS Steve, who has also driven a great race, but yeah, he's taken the opportunity of Lalo Mado's crash. He's got yellow flags. That's here. He's gone for another spin.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of an adventure onto the grass at turn 14. That's a shame for him. Krauser, in the meantime, got past Hartmann, who's on fresh soft tyres at the moment. Lalo Mado's come out in P6 and looking to try and close that gap, but it's not looking likely. Another 10-second time penalty for Jamie F1. These spins are really costing him. And LB is now sat in 1.3 seconds of Pommy Alex, just outside of the DRS threat at the moment, but that could soon change. There are going to be 3 laps left of this race. No, 31, 32, 33. 3 laps left of this race. Come now as Pommy Alex starts lap number 31, and he's got a Red Bull chasing him down. He still has that 3-second time penalty though. We'll keep an eye on the penalty situation as we watch the times as this race enters the dying stages now. Pommy Alex has really just got to drive his heart out here in order to keep that Red Bull behind him, and he's done a good job to stop him from getting DRS as they come down towards turn 5 now. This is the closest battle on the circuit for the moment, although Hartmann is quite close to the back of that other Red Bull, but on those hard tyres he hasn't got much of a chance of overtaking. And LB, look at that, he's closed up, he's getting inside of the DRS range. Lalo Mato sets fastest lap now, an 18.0 for the Alfa Romeo. That's a very good attempt in a recovery, and as he attempts to recover at least 1 point. Lots of time penalties, only 4 drivers who have been completely penalty free this race, but there's still plenty of time at the moment. 0.5 of a second then. LB is looking to set this one up and take away the race lead, at least on track, from Pommy Alex, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to open up that 3 seconds once he's passed the Ferrari. I think he might struggle, and especially if he can't get past him this lap. He's closing and closing and closing, but the straight is a lot shorter than it looks, and I don't think LB's going to find a chance here. It's going to be out on the run down to turn 5 that the Red Bull's going to have to try and make this move stick. He needs to get past this lap, or Pommy Alex will have this race win because of that time penalty that LB has, and it's an even shorter straight down to turn 5. Pommy Alex defending that inside line. LB has nowhere else to go, so he slots in behind the Ferrari at the moment and just is having to follow him through. He'll try and get past on the run to turn 1, I'd imagine, on the beginning of the next lap, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. He needs a mistake from Pommy Alex if he's got any chance of having this race win. P2's not going to be a bad result for the Red Bull, but all drivers want to win the race. Every driver is out there to win when they're racing, so there'll be no backing down from LB. There'll be no I've got a penalty, I'm not going to race you. He's entitled to race. Is LB, and he's going to do so. Pommy Alex is doing an incredible job. It's an incredible drive from the Australian, who had a terrible season last time, and has had a great one if all things are considered. But there goes LB, then breezes straight past up the inside. That's a spin from Lalo Mato. That's at turn 8. That's a costly error as he loses the place to Tier. But LB is in the lead of this race. But Pommy Alex is just going to sit there with him, not get a penalty. If Pommy Alex gets even the slightest bit off the track and gets a penalty, then that's the race handed to that Red Bull. But Pommy Alex is doing an incredible job to stay with the Red Bull for the moment, and it's looking like a Ferrari victory this evening.
Yeah, Pommy Alex has driven absolutely fantastically today. He's going to lose out on track, it seems, but that penalty for LB. Pommy Alex, by the way, he only has 1 warning, I just checked, so he's not in any danger right now. LB coming through the final few corners as Jamie F1 is going to finish the race at the same time as they just go ahead and lap that AlphaTauri. So he'll be happy to see the checkered flag, I'm sure, but here we go. LB coming across the line.
It's going to be LB taking the victory on track, but Pommy Alex, for the 2nd time this season, takes the win after an incredible drive. Doesn't quite get the Grand Slam as he doesn't get fastest lap, but he gets pole position and he wins the race this evening with LB P2. JBS Steve crosses the line and takes that final spot on the podium after a very grueling drive. Muhiti will be disappointed he didn't get on the podium, but P4's nothing to scoff at, with Mr. J-Man having a much better result, finishing P5 as opposed to his last place. Tier will come home in P6 after Lalo Mato spun on lap 32.
P7 because Tier has 9 seconds of penalties and Lalo only has 3. So yeah, Tier going to lose out on penalties. P7 it will be. But Lalo will be disappointed. He could have easily had a podium today.
Yeah, certainly so. He had that spin and he lost his front wing, which threw it all away. Kraus is going to come home in P8, but I think that could be P9 for Krauser, as Hartmann, I think, was close enough.
He wasn't actually in the end, I don't think. It was. It did seem close, I agree, but yeah, I do think Krauser did manage to secure P8, so a poor race for Hartmann in the end, but he did lag out halfway through the session, so unfortunate for him. But what a race win for Pommy Alex as he wins his second race of the season, and I believe that is that? Yeah, it is. That's the first time this season a driver has won 2 races. Up until now, it's been a different winner every week. But not anymore. Wow. Pommy Alex takes the win, and it's such a shame that he couldn't make it to Imola, because he'd be right in this championship battle if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, he certainly would. Well then, Pommy Alex has taken a win this evening, converting that pole position into the top step of the podium. LB and JBS Steve join him on the podium after valiant races from the pair of them. Muhiti comes home slightly disappointed in P4, with Mr. J-Man rounding off the top 5. P6 goes to Lalo Mado. He'll be very disappointed that he lost that podium place, but he does come home with the fastest lap of the race. And I'm just looking at lap records briefly, but we've got Tier 7, Krauser 8, Hartmann 9, Moneyman 10, with QB, Nonzi and Jamie F1 rounding off the rear of the grid.
Yeah, lap records, it is a 17.7, so no lap records broken today. But yeah, very decent effort from everyone. It seems like medium soft is the way to go on this track, as all those drivers who started on mediums really strong throughout the race, very strong pace. So yeah, I think they might have figured out the ultimate strategy around here, but Pommy Alex was just too fast in the end and too consistent, because that penalty cost LB the win. But yeah, fantastic race today. Nothing, no real complaints really. I mean, it was very clean throughout, from what I saw.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, Portimao has quite the knack for spreading everybody out and just sort of allowing them all to race or just drive the track. There's not a second race now where there's not been a lot of battles on the circuit, other than in sort of the opening laps and when the pit stops have fallen into place. But it's a fairly straightforward race, and Pommy Alex made the most of it.
Absolutely did. And yeah, I'm glad to see him win another race. Just wish he could have made it to Imola, because yeah, the championship contention, he really could have been in there with LB. But as it is, he will be, I believe, 19 points away from the championship lead. I think Muhiti will be in P2 still, because he dropped... Where did he finish? He finished 4th, didn't he? So a couple of points. So he'll be 14 points behind. So it'll be LB, then Muhiti 14 behind, then Pommy Alex 19 behind, and then I think Hartmann 21 or 22 behind. But yeah.
Well, anything can still happen. We've still got 2 rounds of racing. And speaking of, next week we go to to Belgium next week for the next round of the championship, and we've got that'll be quite a race for sure. Belgium always has a lot for us. We may even see some rain at the infamous Spa Francorchamps. But that's going to round us off this evening. Please do make sure you leave a like on the stream if you haven't done so already, and subscribe to the channel not to miss out on any of the Tier 2 action. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Ghost?
I don't think so. It's been a great race. Really enjoyed it. Battle of strategy in the end, and also a battle of spins. Before we sign off, Sumo, we've got to decide on a driver of the day.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, I don't know about you. I know LB with a great performance after his qualifying, but I feel like Mr. J Man, a 5th place finish after his woeful season so far. I personally would give it to him. I don't know about you, Sumo.
Yeah, I mean the game gave LB the driver of the day, but I think Mr. J-Man, after an abysmal couple of races, especially crashing out so early at Saudi Arabia, has done a great job to come home with P5. So a big pat on the back for Mr. J-Man as he gets our commentator's driver of the day from there. But anyway, please do make sure that you have supported the stream and the channel, of course, and make sure you go check out all our APPF1 affiliates, and of course give all the love and support you can to Positive Perception Media Design Products. They're our sponsor for Tier 2, and we're very, very grateful to have them here, and their incredible love for motorsport is... I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest, but we all love motorsport here, that's why we're here. Yeah, please do go check them out. I'm sure they've got some content that you guys are really going to love, especially if you like a livery design like I do. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. I have been Sumo.
And I have been Ghost.
And we'll see you next time as we go to Belgium for round 6 of the championship. Goodbye for now, guys.
Goodbye.